want to demo the quadruped rock back as a way to screen in or out mobility limitations in the hip and or lumbopelvic motor control weakness. We want to mimic the squat pattern as close as we can without gravity's involvement to see if there's any hip mobility restriction in the same stance width that we would squat in. So what I'll have an athlete do is get on their hands and knees with their thighs and their knees on the ground at about the width that they would squat in. From there, we'll just have them place their hands on the ground. So this is my normal squat width here, and I'm going to have them arch and then overflex, overextend, overflex. Then I'm going to tell them to find neutral, find somewhere in between. And what we're looking for here is that neutral lumbar spine. From here, I'm telling them to maintain that flatness in the lumbar and try to rock back onto their heels. See if they can go all the way to where that hip is beyond 90 degrees and come back up. Maintaining lumbopelvic neutral. If they get to a point where they start to round and compensate, you can cue them by just flattening that back out and seeing if they can maintain that throughout that range of motion. Now, because of my torso angle here, this doesn't quite mimic a squat. So if we come down to our elbows or even extend our arms out in this position, I now have more torso inclination rather when I'm on my elbows, and the same rules apply. I want to keep this lumbar position into a neutral space and then see if I can then rock back and come back up. Rock back, come back up. If the athlete can learn to pull this maneuver off and maintain that lumbopelvic positioning and get that hip beyond 90 degrees of flexion, it's likely not a really hip flexion mobility related issue, much more so a lumbopelvic stability issue, something that we can then transfer to upright and try to motor control, retrain that out into from a goblet squat back into a front squat and then eventually to a back squat.